When this money comes, don't tell anyone. When the blessing finally appears, when the door that has been closed for years suddenly opens, when the opportunities you have been waiting and praying for finally begin to show, don't be quick to announce it. Because some things that God gives are meant to be kept safe in silence, not shown in noise. You must understand that not every blessing is for open conversation. Some blessings are holy. Some breakthroughs are so divine, so precise, that even a single careless word can attract opposition from those who were never meant to see what God is doing in your life. When this money comes, when the abundance you have been sowing seeds for finally starts to show, you must learn how to move quietly. Because silence is not secrecy. Silence is protection. Silence is growth. Silence is wisdom. God blesses those who know when to speak and when to stay still. The problem with many people is that they destroy their own miracles by talking too early. They announce the seed before it becomes a tree. They expose the promise before it takes root. And when the wrong eyes notice it, jealousy begins to move. Words of envy start to spread. Negative energy begins to form around what God was creating privately. When God gives you financial breakthrough, it's not a call to boast. It's a call to manage wisely. It's not an invitation to show others what you own. It's a test to see if you can handle what you asked for. God doesn't only bless your hands, He examines your heart. He wants to know, will you stay humble when the abundance arrives? Will you still walk quietly when the favor becomes visible? Because many people can handle struggle, but only a few can handle success. Many stay faithful when they have nothing, but lose balance when wealth appears. God is not against money, He is against pride. He is not against success, He is against forgetfulness. When this money comes, remember who gave it to you. Remember the tears you cried in silence, the nights you went hungry, the prayers you whispered when no one was watching. Remember how long it took for you to get here. Because money is not just paper, it's a mirror that tests the soul. It exposes what lives inside you. It shows if your faith was real or if it was only a desire for comfort. When this money comes, don't tell anyone, because some blessings are meant to be protected until they are fully strong. When God begins to lift you, when the doors of increase begin to open, move in silence like a gardener tending a sacred garden. You don't shout every time a seed grows. You care for it quietly until it is strong enough to face the wind. There are seasons in life when silence is not weakness. It is divine strategy. It's not about hiding out of fear. It's about protecting what God has trusted you with from the noise that drains purpose. When God begins to multiply your resources, understand that the same people who were comfortable with your struggle might become uncomfortable with your success. It's not that they hate you. It's that your growth reminds them of their delay. Your blessing confronts their comfort. Your progress exposes their pause. That's why God tells you to move quietly. He wants you to build in peace, away from the opinions of those who cannot handle the new you. Wealth is not just a prize, it's a responsibility. God doesn't give it to everyone because not everyone is ready to carry its weight. There is a spiritual discipline needed to hold abundance without letting it destroy you. Many people pray for financial freedom, but few are ready for the spiritual maturity that must come with it. Because money makes bigger whatever already lives in your heart. If you are selfish, it will show more greed. If you are kind, it will show more generosity. If you are careless, it will show more chaos. That's why when money comes, don't announce it. Sit in silence and ask God for direction. Say, God, show me what to do with this blessing so that it grows your purpose, not my pride. Because divine wealth has a purpose. It comes to bring change. It comes to restore dignity. It comes to support vision and heal generations. But that cannot happen if your first reaction is to look for approval from the same people who once ignored you. When the blessing arrives, you must also understand timing. There is a difference between what is given and what is revealed. God may give you something now, but He might tell you not to show it yet. Because not every harvest is ready to be seen. Some fruits need to ripen in the dark. Some blessings need quiet to mature. If you show them too soon, you invite trouble that could have been avoided. Remember, it's easier to destroy a seed than to cut down a tree. That's why God tells you to wait. Let your wealth grow deep roots before you show its leaves. The time will come when God will want your success to be seen, not for your glory, but for His. But before that, He will test your ability to stay quiet. He will test your discipline in silence. Can you handle the blessing privately without needing to prove it publicly? Can you stay humble while others guess? Can you keep building when others demand answers? Because silence separates the wise from the ordinary. When this money comes, don't let excitement make you careless. Many lose what God gives because they move too fast. They speak too early. They spend without direction. They invest without guidance. They let emotion control what should be ruled by wisdom. But divine prosperity is not emotional. It is spiritual. It takes balance, discipline, and prayer. Sit before God and let Him guide you. He knows where your wealth belongs. He knows who should and should not benefit from it. He knows the traps that are set ahead. And if you stay silent and listen, He will direct you. There's something sacred about quietness in success. It keeps you humble. It reminds you that everything you have is borrowed breath, temporary care. You are not the owner, you are the keeper. God gives and He can take. So stay gentle. Walk softly with your blessing. Let your gratitude be private before it becomes public. Because when you learn to manage blessings in secret, God can trust you with even greater abundance. When the money comes, people will see the change. They will feel it. You won't have to speak. The peace in your presence will speak louder than any announcement. You will walk differently, talk differently, think differently, not out of pride, but because you are now operating from fullness, not from lack. God's blessing carries a fragrance that cannot be hidden. But still, don't talk about it. Keep walking with focus. Let them wonder what shifted. God sometimes hides you in plain sight. He allows your success to grow quietly so that only the right people notice it. That's divine filtering. He doesn't want the wrong hands touching what He's doing in your life. He will cover you spiritually until the time is right. Some people are meant to see your testimony but not your journey. Some can celebrate your result, but could never endure your preparation. That's why God keeps certain seasons hidden. He doesn't want to expose what is still delicate to the winds of envy or distraction. When the money comes, build what lasts. Don't use it to prove anything. Use it to serve your purpose. The world teaches you to spend to be seen. God teaches you to spend to be significant. There's a big difference. The world says show off. God says sow into eternity. Every coin you receive has direction. It will either draw you closer to God or move you away, depending on your intention. If you want your wealth to remain, move it with wisdom, help quietly, give silently, support others without making noise about it. The greatest giving is when one hand doesn't know what the other is doing. Because when you give quietly, you protect your blessing from pride. You separate your generosity from your ego. You let your giving become worship, not performance. The money coming to you is not by accident. It is part of God's plan to restore what was lost, rebuild what was broken, and heal what was wounded. But you must keep it safe from noise. Every time you talk too much about your blessings, you open doors for spiritual interference. You invite talks that drain your peace. You attract eyes that bring jealousy. Silence is your shield. It keeps your heart pure. And when this wealth begins to change your life, remember, never apologize for what God gave you. Stay humble but stay firm. You are not taking anything from anyone. You are receiving what was written for you. You prayed for this, you endured for this, you waited for this. But the reason you must not tell everyone is because not everyone understands the story behind your glory. They see the blessing but not the battle. They see the fruit but not the fasting. They see the reward but not the wounds that shaped your faith. When this money comes, don't tell anyone, because silence will become your strongest protection. Silence will keep your purpose safe. Silence will guard your peace. There are moments when God answers the prayers you cried in the dark, and suddenly everything starts to shift. Doors open that were long closed. Favor appears from directions you never imagined. Abundance flows like a river that had been waiting behind an invisible wall. That moment will feel overwhelming. You will want to shout. You will want to tell everyone the storm is over. But listen, that is not the time to speak. That is the time to hear. Because in your silence, God will give you instruction for the next phase of your blessing. The biggest mistake people make is they celebrate too loudly. They confuse manifestation with completion. They think the blessing means the battle is finished, when in truth it has only changed form. When money enters your life, new tests begin. Tests of loyalty, tests of discipline, tests of the heart. Before you were tested by lack, now you will be tested by plenty. Before you pray to receive, Now you must pray to manage, and in that management lies your destiny. God doesn't only watch what He gives, He watches what you guard. There is something powerful about discretion. There is holiness in keeping things between you and God. When you speak too soon, you awaken forces that are not supposed to see your light yet. There are unseen ears, invisible watchers who react to the energy of your words. When you speak carelessly, you reveal your position to the enemy. When you remain silent, you stay hidden under God's shield. So when this money comes, let your gratitude be quiet. Bow your head, go to your secret space and thank Him in whispers, not in noise. Because gratitude is strongest when it is pure, not performed. The world has trained people to make everything visible, their joy, their wealth, their plans. But God works through those who understand the value of silence. The quiet builders, the ones who work without praise, the ones who celebrate in their hearts while their lips stay still. They are the ones no jealousy can touch. Do not underestimate the spirit of envy. It doesn't always come from enemies. Sometimes it comes from friends, from family, from those who sat beside you when you had nothing. Jealousy doesn't need to hate you to harm you. It only needs to wish it had what you now have. That's why God says stay silent. Not because people are evil, but because not everyone is spiritually ready to see your success without being affected by it. When this money comes, keep your spirit grounded. Don't let comfort weaken your prayer life. Don't let prosperity make you forget where you came from. Don't let ease silence your hunger for God. Because wealth without worship becomes wilderness. Many people get lost in abundance because they stop seeking the giver and start chasing the gift. You must never let that happen. Every new increase should pull you closer to God, not away from Him. Every new level must remind you that the source has not changed, only the channel has. God gives wealth not to make you proud, but to make you useful. He blesses you so you can become a vessel of help to others. But He will not trust His resources to those who seek attention more than purpose. That's why your silence is the proof that you are ready. It shows God that you value the blessing more as a duty than as decoration. It shows that you understand wealth is not a symbol. It is a sacred responsibility, a divine trust, a calling to use what you have to serve something greater than yourself. It's a mission. When the blessing arrives, you will start to notice something powerful. The same world that once overlooked you will suddenly begin to observe you. People will begin to ask questions. They will test your kindness. They will examine your lifestyle. Some will hide curiosity inside friendly words. They will say, "How did you do it?" Not because they truly wish to learn, but because they want to see how close they can get to your blessing. This is the moment when wisdom must rise inside you like a shield. Not every question deserves a reply. Not every smile deserves faith. Not every handshake deserves a partnership. Silence will guard you from traps that words often build. The silence God calls you to is not about fear or secrecy for protection. It is secrecy for strategy. Because when you move quietly, you allow God to act loudly. You make room for divine movement. You remain unpredictable in a world that feeds on exposure. You become untraceable to those who wish to drain your spirit. Silence is the highest act of self-control. And in the world of spiritual warfare, self-control is power. When the money comes, use it to build structure. Use it to design systems that protect your peace. Do not let money rule your time. Let your purpose guide your money. Remember, money itself is not freedom. Discipline is the real freedom. You can hold millions and still be a prisoner of worry if your soul is not anchored in God. But if your heart is disciplined and your spirit grounded, even a small income can feel like wealth, because peace multiplies everything it touches. Do not let your new abundance become noise in your surroundings. True success is quiet because it has nothing to prove. Let the quality of your life speak. Let the way you treat others speak. Let your giving speak, not through announcements, but through quiet change in the lives you touch. God's richest servants are not the ones who make noise about what they give, but those who give in silence and trust God to multiply it. There is something divine about peaceful prosperity. When you learn to hold blessings in stillness, you align yourself with the rhythm of heaven. You become like the ocean, deep, vast, calm on the surface, but powerful underneath. Shallow waters make the loudest sounds. Deep waters remain still. When your wealth is rooted in God, you never need to prove it. It carries a holy gravity that draws opportunities toward you without any chase. Understand this truth. When God gives you increase, He also asks for secrecy until the base is strong. You do not display a house before the roof is complete. You do not invite guests into a half-built home. In the same way, when God is still building your financial stability, keep the door closed. Build quietly. Let the walls rise in silence. When it's done, when it's firm, those who are meant to see it will see it. And even then, you won't have to explain. Your fruit will speak on your behalf. When this money arrives, you will sense a shift inside. You will realize that what once seemed impossible is now within reach. Your hands will carry the strength to create. Your words will carry authority to command. But with that power must come reverence, because money amplifies the heart. Only a heart purified by God can handle prosperity without pride. Pray each day, God, do not give me more than my humility can manage. That prayer will protect you. And never forget, wealth fades but wisdom remains. The goal is not just to become rich, it's to become wise enough to stay blessed. Many become rich but lose peace, lose family, lose direction. But the one who walks with God, who stays quiet and obedient, will experience wealth with calm, abundance with purpose, prosperity with peace. That is the highest form of divine success. When this money comes, do not forget the poor. Remember the days when you had little. Remember the hours when you begged for help and no one came. Remember the nights when you counted coins with trembling hands. That memory will keep your heart soft. Never let success blind you to suffering. The real test of wealth is compassion. God blesses you to see if you can become an extension of His hand. If you keep that spirit of service alive, the flow of provision will never end. When this money comes, don't tell anyone. Because true prosperity is not loud. It is sacred. It's something you carry in your spirit long before it appears in your hands. It's not the car, the home, the brand, or the bank balance that defines it. Prosperity begins when you realize that your relationship with God is the base of everything you own. When God decides to lift you financially, it's not to decorate your ego. It's to show His wisdom. It's not to make you worship money, but to make you understand the duty that comes with divine supply. That's why when this money comes, you must protect it not only from others, but from yourself. Because sometimes the enemy does not approach from the outside, he speaks from within. The most dangerous voice that can destroy your blessing is your own pride. The moment you begin to think, I earned this, I built this, I made this happen, you have already started to drift from the purpose of the blessing. God doesn't bless you so you can glorify yourself. He blesses you so you can glorify Him through what you do with it. That is why humility must rise at the same speed as your wealth. The higher you climb, the deeper you must bow in gratitude. When this money comes, remember that God will watch not how loud you celebrate, but how wisely you manage. Because to God, stewardship is a form of worship. When you organize your finances with purpose, when you give with intention, when you spend with care, when you plan with wisdom, that is worship. It says, God, I respect what you trusted me with. I honor your gift. And when God sees that kind of respect, He multiplies what you have beyond what you could ever imagine. Many pray for wealth, but few prepare for the character it demands. Wealth without growth of the soul leads to decay. That's why sometimes God delays it. Not because He doesn't wish to bless you, but because He's preparing your heart to hold it. He strengthens your spirit before He increases your status. Because when you rise, you will attract not just admiration, but attack. Prosperity brings both light and shadow. Some will love you for what you represent. Others will despise you for the same reason. But if your base is built on God, you will not be shaken. When this money comes, guard your atmosphere. Not everyone deserves access to your environment. Some people drain peace from the air you breathe. Some speak words that sound kind, but carry energy that poisons your spirit. Protect your peace as part of your wealth, because it truly is. You can lose money and regain it, but once peace is lost, everything else loses meaning. So when God increases you, create distance between your abundance and their noise. Learn the holy art of quiet separation. It's not pride, it's awareness. Know this wealth carries vibration. When you begin to prosper, it changes your life's frequency. It attracts new people, new doors, and also new tests. And if you are not spiritually alert, you can fall into circles that appear attractive but are empty inside. That's why silence is your protection. It gives you space to sense who belongs in your next season and who does not. When God lifts you, it is not only to bless you but to teach you that giving is strength. But even giving must be wise. Do not give to be seen. Do not give to be praised. Give because it fulfills divine purpose. Some giving blesses and some giving drains. Learn to ask God, where should I sow? Because not every ground is fertile. You can waste good seed on empty soil if you do not listen to divine instruction. That's why before you give, before you invest, before you expand, silence yourself and listen. The same God who gave the wealth will give you the wisdom to place it where it multiplies goodness. And when this money comes, do not use it to prove anyone wrong. Don't waste it showing your worth to those who ignored your pain. You owe them nothing. Your only debt is to God, the one who carried you when no one noticed. The world defines success by what it can see. God defines it by obedience. What the world calls luxury, God calls stewardship. What the world calls display, God calls waste. When the blessing becomes visible, remember the invisible hours that produced it. The prayers, the waiting, the discipline, the nights you almost gave up. Gratitude keeps your heart soft, and a soft heart is the only soil where blessings can keep growing. When gratitude fades, greed steps in. When humility falls, downfall begins. Many fall under the very weight of the wealth they begged for, because they forgot who lifted them when they had nothing. Never forget that silence is not only about keeping secrets from others. It is about keeping peace within yourself. It is the gift of enjoying what you have without explaining it. It is the art of resting in divine abundance without searching for applause. That is spiritual maturity. When you no longer need claps to feel strong. When you no longer need to prove your blessing to believe it's real, you become calm, grounded, and free. That's when you are truly rich, not when you can buy everything, but when nothing can buy you. When this money comes, learn the rhythm of balance. Save some, invest some, give some, enjoy some, but never worship any of it. Let money flow through your hands, not through your heart. Keep your heart untouched by greed and your soul untied to numbers. God wants you to handle wealth like water, flexible, humble, always moving toward purpose. If you ever feel the urge to speak about your success, stop and pray. Ask yourself, what will this word produce? If it brings peace, speak it. If it feeds pride, stay silent. Silence will confuse your enemies and protect your destiny. Because not every battle is fought with strength. Some are won with wisdom. Silence is wisdom. Silence is armor. Silence is proof that your faith rests in God, not in applause. When God blesses you, your humility must grow deeper than your bank account. Stay kind. Stay approachable. Remember how it felt when you were ignored. Remember how it felt when you were struggling. Use your wealth to raise others quietly, not with noise, but with compassion. The world does not need another loud, rich person. It needs silent healers who use what they have to bring light where darkness rules. When this money comes, guard your spiritual routine. Do not let comfort replace connection. Many lose the closeness they once had with God when their hands become full. Their prayers shorten, their gratitude fades, their sensitivity dulls. Don't let that be your story. The same way you cried in prayer while waiting, pray with gratitude while receiving. When your wealth increases, your worship must deepen. Worship is what keeps wealth pure. God blesses you not to raise your status, but to expand your impact for good. And influence without integrity is poison. That's why your silence is not only about privacy, it's about purity. You cannot mix divine purpose with worldly pride. If you want your wealth to carry peace, it must stay aligned with heaven, not with vanity. So when this money comes, understand that it is more than income, it is instruction. God is saying, now handle this as my representative on earth. Manage it with care, with love, with wisdom. And if you stay faithful, more will come. Because God always trusts those who protect what He provides. Let others wonder, let them guess. You owe no explanation for divine elevation. Let your discipline speak for you. Let your calm be your sign. The loudest sound of divine prosperity is peace, not performance. And remember this truth: when God blesses you, He is not only giving to you, He is giving through you. You become a vessel of divine flow. The moment you try to own it, you block it. But when you let it move through gratitude and service, you enter the rhythm of endless provision. So when this money comes, tell no one. Tell God, I am ready to serve through this blessing. I will honor you with this abundance. I will stay silent when others speak, humble when others boast, grateful when others forget. That is how divine wealth lasts. That is how peace stays. That is how you carry prosperity without losing your soul.